What's up, guys? Duster McDangles back here with another video, and welcome back. We are starting a brand new Dynasty series here, franchise mode rebuild, and in today's episode you will see the team we will be rebuilding. We'll check out their lines, prospects, everything like that, and get into a little bit and tell you how we're going to be doing this one. It'll be a little bit different than we did our Pittsburgh Penguins series, but if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future action. I'm going to need you guys here to help me build this team and move forward here, hopefully winning Stanley Cups along the way. And before I tell you guys the team we're about to get into, again, I know some of you guys did comment on the last video, and I do appreciate it for the video about when it comes to picking the team for the new rebuild. And some mixed reviews, so I went ahead, I actually threw up a poll in a franchise mode group that I'm in on Facebook and got a lot of good responses, a lot of mixed feedback. But from that, as well as mixed reactions to our comments from the previous video, we're going to be going with the Montreal Canadiens, guys. That is the team we're going to be rebuilding here. It was very close, and I'll pop up the screenshot of the standings, or not standings, but the results from the poll right now on the screen so you guys can see it. But it was close between them or the Coyotes when it comes to rebuilding. But Montreal, I think, is a perfect team to rebuild. A little bit older. They just made it to the Cup, and who knows what their future is going to look like. Got some pretty interesting prospects, I'd say, with Suzuki and Caulfield, but I honestly don't know too much about their prospect pool as a whole. 86 overall is their team overall at this point. We're going to be needing to make some changes. Also, to note, I will let you know that we are on custom roster sharing. We're doing a roster share that has updated prospects, so that will be nice to have here in this franchise mode. So that'll be nice. We're just going to turn off some of the things here to keep that moving forward properly. But again, I will make sure to set the settings and rules and all that to superstar, highest difficulty that we possibly can get. But I'll talk to you guys in just a moment here with the rosters, our lines, and how we're going to be doing this franchise mode a little bit differently. And here we are, guys, on the home screen for this new franchise mode, which before we do get into contracts, viewing lines, viewing free agents, all that good stuff, I do want to let you know how we're going to be doing this franchise mode simulation. So what we're going to be doing is, during the regular season, and this is up to you guys, I'm really planning on only wanting to play at least maybe 3 to 5 games, maybe crucial point games at some point during the season. If we're on a really bad skid of maybe like 10-game losing streak, we play a game to try and change our fortune around. That could be a potential. Or we do 1 game at the start of the season, 1 game at the middle of the season, and 1 game at the end. I think the 5 range, so we do 1 game at the start, maybe 1 in the middle, 1 right after trade deadline, 1 at near the end of the season is what I'm thinking of, because I do truly want this franchise mode in particular, to be more of a simulation-based feel to it, so that we're not having any massive impact when it comes to the actual game outcomes, as opposed to putting the rosters and everything together. But let me know what you guys think down below of that. If we play 4 or 3 to 5 games, again, I want to play that first one against Toronto, then probably not play a game possibly until December, January timeframe. Honestly, if I'm down to play like all the Toronto games, that would actually be kind of cool, because we only play them 3 times total, I want to say, or 4 times total. So, and it ends up being around the trade deadline as well. But that could be cool. But I think 3 to 5 games, again, start of the season, middle of the season, December, January timeframe. I'd say maybe right before the trade deadline, like that Ottawa game there in February, or even one of these, I'd say maybe Seattle, and then get maybe the game against Florida or Carolina or Tampa Bay after the trade deadline, and then depending on how things are going, we'll play something in maybe the last week of the season against Ottawa or Buffalo. Again, 3 to 5 games total. That's what I'm thinking for this simulation, for this to be a multiple year simulation, and not just 1 year we win the Cup and we're done. That is not what I want to go for. But again, let me know what you guys think down below. So now what I do want to take a look at, we'll do lines first, we'll do then contracts, and then we'll take a look at our depth of prospects. That's what I want to look at here first. Honestly, I'm not too up to date. I know Montreal is not having the best of seasons, but that top line is actually pretty nice. I will say. Although, where is... I'm really drawing a blank here. Where is our boy Caulfield? Am I missing him? Is he in the AHL? Wow, Caulfield's in the AHL. We definitely are going to need to call him up. So maybe we look at prospects first. And then, so let's take a look at roster moves. Caulfield has to be with the big boys. I know he was sent down. He went to Laval at the start of the season. Didn't start off great, but that is not what we want to do. So we're going to see here who's our lowest player on the team. Pauling, Niku, like these guys, we need to send one of those guys down. That is fine. No waivers, so that is great. He's able to move easily. In the system, we'll call our boy Caulfield up. Lehkonen is also down there. So let me call Lehkonen up as well over... Although I kind of want Lehkonen to play, and he'll play down there as opposed to at the pro level. So we'll leave him down there for now and give Niku a shot at the top level, and if we need to call him up. I'm trying to see here. Xavier Ouellet, we could call up Romanov. I do kind of want to give him a shot in the pros. And do we have... I guess how many defensemen do we have up at this point? Weber, honestly, because he's not technically going to be playing in real life, I do want to at least maybe try to find a trade for him, get him out of here, and then at that point we could even try to sign a big-time free agent. But then we got Petrie, Edmondson, Savard, Sherratt, Kulak, Weidman. We're going to send Niku down. And then I want to call Romanov up. I think his development will be key. Having a younger type defenseman. Although Caden Gould, that's actually really nice. I believe it's Caden. Caden Gould, that is huge. I think he's currently captain of Team Canada at the World Juniors, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll call Romanov up, get him into the big times, and then this is where we'll edit the lines. At this point, I do want to see what the coach thinks for best lines. Let's see here. Options, head coach preferred lines. Let's see what they do here. I'm interested. Gallagher, that is interesting. So Duran on the top line, that would be nice with Toffoli. That's a pretty solid line. Anderson, Dvorak, Hoffman, that is actually kind of nice. I want to move Caulfield up. I don't believe him on that bottom line is going to do him any good with his development. And I kind of want to get him still on the top line. Move Hoffman. I don't want to move Hoffman down. Gallagher. Gallagher is just interesting. He is X Factor. He doesn't really work on any of these lines, to be honest. Hoffman doesn't really fit either, which is interesting. Let's move Toffoli up to the that's a solid second line. This is where it gets interesting. This is with this third line. Get Hoffman up there. Honestly, the team is pretty solid up front. I'm not going to lie. Maybe look to get Gallagher out, possibly. Toffoli. Who's one of our oldest forwards? I think Hoffman might be. Yeah, he's 31. What's his contract? 4.235. It's a solid contract, but he just doesn't fit any of the lines, really, except that first line. And I want Caulfield to develop, so I'd rather have Caulfield up there with Suzuki. Unless, that doesn't really work either. I was thinking Dvorak on the first line, but that doesn't work. Toffoli works on the first line. Maybe that works. Toffoli, because 285, so they're now 87 plus an 83 with that +2. That's a pretty solid top line. Duran here on the second. Maybe move Hoffman around. No, that's not going to work. Duran, 26 years old. He really does fit that first line better. So then Caulfield would still be getting... Caulfield's still getting top minutes. That's just a better first line. I think that would work best. They're lefty, righty. That'll work. Again, we're not actually playing the game, so I'm not too worried about it. I think Hoffman's the one we're going to need to look to get rid of. Scratched players again. Weidman. We got 2 defense. We might need to send Weidman down, possibly. Romanoff. We'll see if we can work him into the lineup. But look on the back end. Petrie, he's going to be first-line defenseman. Edmondson. Ooh, Sherratt does not work on that first line. That is unfortunate. Weber is not going to be in the lineup. So let's get him out. Technically, that is going to be Romanoff's spot. And he does get the +2, although if we move Kulak there, it's +1 on our bottom 2 lines, which I would prefer to have. Top line Petrie, Edmondson, it's not the best, but it's not terrible. We want one-timer shots. Going to look for those one-timer shots, both lefties, righty, lefty. So we'll swap that around. Okay, so we got the one-timer shots up at the point. The one thing I will not change is Carey Price will be our goalie. I know he's going through a lot right now with the mental health, and we do wish him the best, but I do want to keep Carey Price around. So let's go back to edit lines. Oh, we have to do the AHL. Primo is up to an 80. That is actually really nice. Let's actually take a look here. What's going on here? We need to get our top lines here. Head coach preferred lines. I don't think that's going to affect anything here with the NHL that we just did that. But honestly, AHL is looking pretty good here as well. John Sebastian, a former Pittsburgh Penguin. We'll get him on the second line. I do want to make sure that didn't mess up our NHL. Did it? I don't think it did. No, it did not. Okay, perfect. So honestly, maybe fourth line centerman at the NHL level we might want to look for. Defense looking good. Again, AHL is looking pretty good. I'm not too worried about them. But at this point, I think we need to start looking for, let's look at the trades, but I also want to check our prospect pool to see what we've got going for us. I know the Caden Gould kid, he will be a big piece in the future. Caulfield, I mean, our trade value is not the best for a lot of our players. Yeah, Caden Gould, he's actually at the AHL level. We're going to need to get him into the lineup. I didn't see him with any of the players. Who is this? Logan Mehu. I don't really know how to say his name. I don't even know if that's right. Two-way defender. Defenseman. We've got some pretty solid defensive prospects. I'm not going to lie. Kapanen kid here. Oliver Kapanen. Montreal Canadiens, second-round pick, centerman. We've got a Joshua Roy or Waugh. Let me know in the comments. I don't know which way it is, but let me know. 62 overall, top 9 forward medium, potentially still in the age, or he's in juniors still. Sobolev, Daniel Sobolev. He is a defensive defenseman. Probably won't ever see time. Man, Lehkonen, his trade value is absolutely just awful. Alturi Lehkonen. It might be just better to just keep him and see what we can do with him moving forward. Paul Byron. Wow, that's a really terrible contract with Byron. We might want to maybe try to look to move that. I don't even think he's also in our lines. I'd have to double check. I don't think he is. But our cap situation right now is just not the best. Let me double check to see if Byron is in any of our lines, because at this point it's going to be Weber and possibly Byron. Let me see here. He's taken up a lot of cap space. We could, I was going to say we can't even buy him out. Gallagher, another piece of the puzzle that we can get rid of and move some cap around and possibly even just get big picks for it. Armia, Byron. I know he had a great playoffs last year, but he just 32 years old, 78 overall. That's not what you're looking for in a contract, to be honest. When honestly, what's his face? Lehkonen could just slot in right there in his spot, 79 overall. If he fits the team better, that's a whole nother question that we would have to look at. But at this point, Byron, he is slotting in on that fourth line. That's just, his contract is not, I don't want that on the books, especially at 32 years old. What's his speed? Speed better be decent. 88, but his shot, it's okay. It's not the best. maybe that might be a deadline. If we're not doing well, maybe open up some cap for the upcoming season. But at this point, I kind of want to unload. Who's got the worst contract here? 6 years at 615. That's going to be interesting. But I think, if anything, 4235 for 3 years. Hoffman, 31 years old. How old is Gallagher? 31 versus 29. Okay, 2-year difference. Gallagher he's that one grinder type player that you want on your team. He doesn't really fit the team that well. At that point, we might want to look to maybe even bring in a new coach. And we'll take a look at that actually right now. I want to see what our coach fit is and if we can maybe find a better fit. Our coach right now is a generalist. And, I mean, his fit, 61 team fit. I'm wondering if there's a coach out there. Or wait, those are hire coaches. Never mind. I was not looking at our coaches. Let's look at our coaching staff. I was like, wait a minute, that's not making any sense right there. Oh, here we go. I was like, where's coaching staff? I haven't actually really looked at that. We didn't need to look at that for the Penguins rebuild, but we've got an A- generalist, 70 staff fit. 67. We could honestly maybe do better. 67. Let's go to hire coaches. See if we can maybe find anything a little bit better than 67 team fit, because that's just going to be huge. And I honestly don't think we're going to find it. 66 is pretty decent, but I don't think we're going to find anything higher than 67 at this stage. We might have to wait a year. 67 right there with Tumo Shivonin. He's very good with defense, but a lot of guys not really fitting in with the scheme that we're wanting. That's actually our AHL level. Are we an AHL head coaches? NHL head coach. There we go. That's what we want. Oh, there are no NHL head coaches at this point. So we can't even try that if we wanted. So we're going to have to leave it as is right now with the coaching fit, which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Honestly, at this point, I do kind of want to just unload Weber here in the first episode with you guys. That is just one thing I want to do. Again, he's not going to be playing for us. He is technically most likely never going to play another game in the NHL. We're going to unload him on a team that I would say probably needs him and honestly has some cap and is also not in our division, because I think he will end up playing in this simulation somehow, some way. And honestly, you know who has a lot of draft picks? The Arizona Coyotes have a lot of draft picks, although this would be a nice little snipe here. Dylan Gunther, left winger. That could be interesting. Don't really know too much about him, but that would be an absolute snipe. What is he? He is a sniper as well. First round pick. He's still in juniors as well. That would be a nice little snipe. And see him develop. I think that could be really nice. Let's see what kind of picks they have for next year. They've got 3. They have our first round pick, which is interesting. I don't know how they got that. Maybe we go back for our first round draft pick, possibly. Although that prospect is almost guaranteed to pan out, to be honest. Elite medium, that would be absolutely sweet if we could maybe snipe that. Trade value is not in our favor, and that's where we would have to maybe get rid of another player. Where Hoffman's value, that's where it's going to be a little hard to move him. Plus, the cap might not work. The cap might not work here in this specific circumstance, which actually this trade could really help Arizona in the long run and also help us in the long run as well. Where that then gives us an opportunity to pick up a free agent for right wing to fill in for Hoffman on that third line. That's honestly what I'm thinking, but we have to make this cap work, which is why we might have to ask for a player in return. And let's see if they have any right wingers that they would be willing to part. Phil Kessel would be kind of cool. I don't think he would fit the team. Forward line 1, I don't want to do that, but they don't really have anything else at the forward position on right wing. Left wing, Clayton Keller's got a pretty decent contract. Dzingel, Krause. I mean, Krause is 24. Forward line 3, that could possibly work. Trade value is low. I don't know if we could make this to pull this off, but our cap situation would be a whole lot better. Plus getting a solid prospect with Gunther. Again, let me know in the comments how you actually pronounce that. But if anything, we might have to throw in a pick for this. Yeah, that trade's rejected. Honestly, if we can get this to work, this would be a huge steal. But also, I don't think we have a lot of picks. Next year. Oh, we actually do have a first round pick next year. Oh, we got the first round from Carolina because of getting, they got, why am I drawing a blank on his name? I'm forgetting his name right now. But we might have to throw in a third round pick. We've got a lot of picks. Fourth round? Let's throw Carolina's third round pick in there. And this, again, if you really think about it, it is kind of building through the draft because this kid, again, drafted by Coyotes. He's a top 10 pick, or top 11? Top 10 pick from this past year's draft. That would be a huge steal. If we could, if we could just get that to go through, that'd be huge for the franchise. Maybe if we throw in Anaheim's third round pick, that just a little bit more trade value. That trade is rejected. Maybe if we throw in maybe one more pick, throw in our fourth, and see if that can go through. That trade is rejected. So that it's going to be interesting to see. What do we have for next year's draft? We've got pretty much a stereotypical draft. Maybe throw in our 2/3 Hoffman Weber for Krause and Gunther. That trade's rejected. Okay. Let's see if we remove those. I would be willing to give next year's second round pick for this. The odds of getting something big out of a second round pick is not the best. But see if this goes through. That is rejected. This is where then throw in a third round pick for this year. We'll throw in that Anaheim pick this year, get the trade value in our favor. Wow, that trade is rejected as well. Do we have any goalie prospects? That is the real question. Never checked goalie prospects. Carey Price, Alan Primeau. I don't have any goalie prospects, which is quite frustrating. This goalie is probably never going to see the light of day. But that then just gets, it's just wait. This is tough. I really do want to make this work. I'm not going to lie. This would be a huge trade to sort of jumpstart the rebuilding process here for Montreal. Oh, we don't even have a second round pick in 2024. 2025, we do have a second round pick. And we'll worry about 2025 when we get there. 2 second rounds, Hoffman, Weber for Gunther, Krause. And we free up a ton of cap. Does it go through? That trade is accepted. Okay. I mean, that's a lot. I'm not going to lie. I will admit that is a lot. But we do have a first round pick for next year, which is Carolina's. So depending on how they do, will depend on where that pick falls. Roster moves. Okay. This is where we're going to have to do some wheeling and dealing because now we have to call up some guys. So technically, we're down. Technically, we're only down one player. This is where we're going to call up Lehkonen. Yeah, so we'll bring up Lehkonen, bring him up to the show. We'll go to edit lines here. We'll do NHL. And then Hoffman, he was on third. And again, this is what is going to really fill out with the cap and being able to try and bring in somebody. But we've got Krause as well. Substitute all lines. He does get the +1. Okay, that's clutch. He gets the +1 on that third line. And I do want to check to see if Lehkonen fits over Byron for the +1. He does. Okay, that is actually huge. I'd rather have him in there on that fourth line. And then we've got the power play here to fix, which if we can get... we don't really have any offensive defense. We'll get Romanoff there on the second PP. And we'll take care of the rest of these lines here in just a second. But I'm really happy about that deal. I don't know about you guys. I feel pretty happy about it. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I am extremely happy with what we were able to accomplish with the trade and how it has honestly worked. I would say that definitely worked in our favor, 100%. That worked in our favor. It does look like we need a right winger, which is interesting. Anderson, is he already on one? No, he is not. Okay, so that, and let's move this around. We need to make sure we've got the best players available for those. So maybe we look for a centerman. I've had a hard time there while trying to do all of this at the same time, but a centerman for the NHL level could be what we might want to look for as we move some things around here for the AHL level. Yeah, nothing really. Yeah, we'll work Roy up there. Dea up there. 410. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, perfect. So that's that. And this is what the NHL looks like at this point. I'm happy with Krause. I think he'll be able to do some good work. 24 years old. He's got some room to grow. Power forward, so he is a little bit grinder of a type player. 6'4". Him and Anderson on the same line. That is really nice. Two power forwards. That's just a bulldozing line right there. As Perreault, he actually isn't a centerman. What are his face-offs? 78, not too bad, so not really need to worry about getting a new centerman, but we could. Actually, I do want to check out free agency here before we do close out this episode, because look at that cap now, guys. The cap is amazing, and we do actually have one spot here to work with when it comes to free agents for this year, and if we want to sign like a 1-year type player. Demers we did bring in. Maybe we bring back Eric Stahl. That would be a nice little shout there. Honestly, I'm tempted to bring him back. He played great. No, he doesn't fit any of the lines, which is such a bummer. Who is this guy? Kirill Marchenko. Undrafted Columbus. Wait, drafted by Columbus Blue Jackets. This is interesting. I kind of want to bring this kid in for at least AHL. That is interesting. Yes, thank you so much for that. We'll see if we can bring him into the squad. Actually, I'm intrigued. That is actually kind of huge if we could bring him in. But let's now take a look at overall. Dominic Cahoon, 26 years old. That could be a nice little shout as well. He's been around the NHL, 26 years old, or we bring in a more depth type player, 6'4", two-way forward, Eric Stahl back to Montreal. I think he played very well. He does want a 1-year deal. We're going to have to cut somebody, though, because we're actually going to have to cut somebody right now. That's the issue. We'll make that work. I'll make that work here off screen, actually. I'll make it work that we will be able to get Eric Stahl, and we'll bring in that other kid for the AHL level. But we got $10 million to work with after these. We'll have about $9 million to work with. So at the trade deadline, if we're really actually pushing for a playoff spot, we'll try to make some moves. But if not, we'll try to be sellers at the deadline, see who else we can maybe get out for some picks like Gallagher or Anderson. I don't want to get rid of Anderson. Maybe Toffoli. Maybe even Dvorak. No, Dvorak's a solid player, but we'll work it out when we get to that point in the season. But again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this what you guys want to go for? Is this the track we want to go on? I think that move that we just made here today was a huge move, bringing in the prospect for the CHL. That is huge. Actually, I do want to take a look at this before we close out this episode here with the value of everything. And Gunther, look at that. He's already second best value. He's 73 overall already, and he is only 18 years old. So that is huge. Left wing 6'1". He is a sniper. He is also a righty. So that'll be interesting to see him develop and grow. And we'll see if we can get him maybe in a year or two up to the big squad, as well as Gould. We'll get him into the lineup here at the AHL level, get him playing some hockey games. And again, we'll start off the series here shortly. We'll start in the next episode, but that is going to be it for today's episode. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button. Drop comments down below on ways we can improve and build the squad, build the team. And I'm looking forward to this new journey here. We are starting through the springtime and see if we can bring Montreal back to the top where they deserve to be, where they were for many, many years. But I hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.